Hello everybody, welcome back to 7 Moons Astrology. I'm Sarah Kirby and today we are talking about the full moon in Gemini happening on December 18th at 27 degrees, 10:35 p.m. Central Time. And I'm really excited to talk to you about this moon because I think it's going to be a higher perspective on the issues we've been dealing with and going through over the intensity of this year. I think everyone I know has had a challenging 2021. A lot of people I have spoken with have said that it has been the hardest year of their life, mine included. And the astrology certainly indicates that. But at this moon, the full moon in Gemini this weekend, we can zoom out and we can get a holistic perspective about what we've learned, where we've been, the ideas and the stories that we're telling about who we are and who we're becoming, and we can sort of get a glimpse into what 2022 will hold for us. So I want to break down the energy that we're having here and sort of explain to you really what this is all about. So what is a full moon? A full moon, every full moon, is a culmination, a completion, a moment of illumination from the light of the moon that shows us the results of our intentions, our efforts, the things we've been working on related to Gemini themes in this case specifically. So you will want to think back to the intentions that you set this summer in June when we had the new moon in Gemini, but you also want to think more broadly about the past 18 months as we've had the North Node in Gemini. We are moving to a period of time here in mid-January where the nodes are going to be shifting into Taurus and Scorpio. And so really this final full moon in Gemini is sort of a chance to kind of understand from a higher optimistic and hopeful place in the middle of Sagittarius season, what the story of the past 18 months has really meant for us and what we've gained through experience and what we're telling ourselves about it today. So Gemini rules, it's associated with the third house and the planet Mercury. So it rules on a mundane level, ideas, communication, writing, media projects, how we connect with our community. So not only how we move through our community with things like vehicles and travel, but short distance trips, the people we live by, neighbors, our extended family, those are all things that Gemini rules or has association with, as well as, I should mention, like courses of study and things that you are learning and putting your energy into consuming and developing from a mental point of view, because Gemini is an air sign. So this moon has two noteworthy aspects that it's making, and the first is a trine to Jupiter in Aquarius within 1 degree, and this is a beautiful energy. Jupiter is the planet of good fortune. It's known as the Great Benefic, and it rules Sagittarius and Pisces in traditional astrology. So it's thought of sort of to expand on everything it touches, and a trine is a really harmonious, beautiful energy. So what is Sagittarius and therefore Jupiter really all about? It's about zooming out, taking a more expansive view, a higher perspective, our connection with God and our spirituality. It's about adventure and wisdom gained through experience. It's about life lessons that we gain through living it and taking a hopeful approach and really understanding the greater and deeper meaning behind everything we go through in this life. So I really think Jupiter kind of helps us to zoom out at this time and understand the stories you've been telling yourself about your journey. Because since we've been through, such a challenging period of time, this is, maybe a time where you've been telling yourself some stories that need to change. And Jupiter is going to give you the ability to do that with this full moon. So the other most noteworthy aspect that we have is actually a quincunx to Venus and Pluto, which are going to be coming into conjunction here in Capricorn. So this is really significant because a day later, on the 19th of December, Venus will begin its retrograde journey, which goes all the way till the end of January, if I'm not mistaken. And so it will be conjunct Pluto 2 more times, and it actually just was on December 11th. So you can't really separate these energies here, because it's really all about redefining and understanding what it is we value and the truth of our situations in terms of relationships, in terms of money, in terms of self-worth, and those are all Venusian ideas. So, you know, when we have a quincunx or an in conjunction, that's a pretty rare aspect to see with a significant astrological moment like a full moon or new moon, because the orb is quite tight. We really only consider those aspects when they're within 1 or 2, maybe 3 degrees of 150 degrees. So we've got the moon at 27 degrees Gemini, and we have Venus at 26 and Pluto at 25 degrees Capricorn at the time of this full moon. And so that relationship there is really significant, because it's a sort of very polarizing energy where things are really different and it can be hard to integrate. Gemini is an air sign, it's mutable, and Capricorn is an earth sign, and it's cardinal. So those energies, they don't share anything in common. And that's really the main point. So if you don't know what any of those words signify, that's not important. Really, the only thing that matters about that is that the energies here between Venus and Pluto, where they're stationed in the sky, and the moon in Gemini are very different. They don't share anything in common. And so there is a challenge to kind of understand what it is we really need to do or know or integrate on a deep soul level when it comes to these energies. So when the moon is involved in conjunction, quincunx, they mean the same thing, and I find in conjunction much easier to say. So when the moon is involved, really what this means is that we've been experiencing some kind of issue with the expression of our emotions. It's really all about connecting with your own emotions and deciphering them from other people's emotions and learning how to express them in an appropriate way. So what you can see right now related to your relationships, or maybe your finances, or even your own self-love, those Venusian themes, that there's been a hard time understanding what it is that you really want. There's been a hard time being able to communicate what you need, or maybe you're on the flip side of that in your relationships and you're just like over communicating. You're really kind of exploding rather than calmly expressing. So what this describes is some kind of issue that's going to pop up in those Venusian areas. As Venus is about to go retrograde, we're going to be reviewing those things. And then, Venus, of course, that this can be, self-worth issues. It can be dysfunctional relationships. It can also be, you're having an issue receiving. You're having an issue experiencing or allowing yourself to experience pleasure or relaxing. This could be problems with maybe over-grooming yourself as a result of a self-worth issue, or just completely letting yourself go, again, as a result of a self-worth issue. And all of that, of course, echoes in our relationships, and it shows up with our monetary abundance as well, because it's all energy, right? It's all a frequency that we're vibrating at. And money, which is a Venusian ruled thing, is really just an earth-level manifestation of that, like, internal vibration. So then you look at Pluto and in conjunction and what its involvement is as well. And Pluto is about lasering in on the truth. It's about cutting through the noise and getting down to what is really, really true about what we desire most. And of course, it's very intimately tied to fear as well, and how the fear and the vulnerability gets us to obsess, it gets us to ruminate, it gets us to try to control and fixate on having some sense of certainty in our relationships, having some sense of control and predictability about our money that prevents us from taking the risks to go after what it is we really desire most at a soul level, right? There's vulnerability in dressing the way that you really want to dress, regardless of what everybody else is doing around you where you live. So all of those things are part of the energy right now. And again, what I really love about Jupiter is that it gives us an ability to pull back. It gives us a chance to open our hearts and kind of see this from a higher perspective. And so you're going to find, I think here, that this moon will give you a deeper sense of understanding about the past and hopefulness about what the future has to hold for you. And it's not to say that you're going to have complete clarity over those things yet, because these issues that I'm talking about with Venus and Pluto and the moon, really you're not going to see resolution with that completely until Venus is done going retrograde, right? Because Venus retrograde is really going to be about getting to the heart of the matter of these issues and solving them. But here's the moment in time where we're like, whoa, we're going to break out of the pattern for a second to see, okay, here's what's really been wrong the whole time. And now I'm going to work on opening myself to what the solution looks like and really looking inside to see what it is I value at a core level and what I think is beautiful and what I think is harmonious and what I think is pleasurable and what I really want in my relationships, with my money, with my self-worth, what I want to do, how I want to express myself, all of those things. So, this is ultimately a really, really beautiful energy for zooming out a little bit and getting that clarity. And I really love it for that. And I'm very excited. With Gemini, there's this energy right now, because of course all of this is happening just a couple days before the winter solstice and the sun moving into Capricorn. And at the solstice, the day and night are equal. The hours of day and the hours of night are equal. And so metaphorically, this is kind of like standing at the doorway from darkness into light. And I was thinking about what this means, and it kind of reminds me of, if you're like me, and I'm a Gemini rising, when you wake up in the morning and there's been a period of darkness and suddenly you wake up and it's like the mind starts going really quickly. It's like, what am I going to do today? And I want to do all of these things. And the mind just chat. That mental chatter begins. And it's like there was darkness, there was an absence of light, and then all of a sudden it's like full force. I'm curious about the day ahead. I've got all these ideas about the day ahead, and I'm talking. The mental mind, the airy mind, it is going, right? And that's kind of what this energy feels like. There's this Gemini curiosity. There's this hopeful feeling of glimpsing into what the future of 2022 is going to hold. And we don't know exactly, we can't really even make concrete intentions at this time, because the ideas are shifting and the winds are shifting, and you're looking over here and you're like, well, maybe I can connect with my community in this way. And you're looking over here and maybe I could start a project and write about this sort of thing. And maybe I have this idea, I have that idea. I want to take this course. I want to meet with this person. I want to go to this place. And so there's this certain feeling of anticipation that's associated with this. And it can also be a time of anxiety, right? Because it's so fast moving. And when there is uncertainty, we can see that two ways. We can choose to see that through anxiety and fear and discomfort with that lack of certainty, or we can choose to move that into hopefulness and curiosity. And a wise person once said to me, why don't we change what if to let's see? And I think that's what this full moon is all about. And so over the next couple months, we're going to be getting really clear about what it is that we want. And oftentimes that means we're going to discover those things by having experiences of what we don't want. And that's okay, right? Because as long as we just allow it to be what it is in the moment and release our need to really know with absolute certainty as we're shifting, and we really are shifting in a big way because of those nodes moving to the Taurus-Scorpio axis, new energy is going to be coming in. So this is just a period of time where we open to it and we reflect and we see things from a higher perspective. So that's my reading for the full moon in Gemini, coming up again on December 18th, 10:35 p.m. Central Time. And I hope it's a beautiful one for you. So thanks for watching With Energy, Sarah.